This is big breaking news. We have a National Guard insider coming out and warning us of what could come next and warning us of what the National Guard themselves are getting prepared for. So if they're getting prepared for this, you need to be getting prepared too. And they're warning of big things coming, okay? Of water systems going offline, of entire healthcare systems going offline, and entire grid systems going offline as well. This is what the National Guard is preparing for, and we are actually already seeing these events happening right now in live time just in the past week. Half a dozen articles here of big things that are going on. So we need to be getting prepared. We need to be getting a generator. We need to be getting storable food. You need to be getting candles. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, getting candles, but you need to be getting candles. You need to be getting kerosene lamps. Okay, you need to be getting lamp oil. Stock up on all these things, because this is how people survived before when the grid went down or when they just didn't have electricity. Okay, electricity is a relatively new thing for most of the world to have. Okay, this only came along in the past 100 years where the entire world is electrified now, and we are totally dependent on it. And people survived before any of this. Okay, people were able to survive for tens of thousands of years before we had any of this technology. So we need to be thinking about, what did people have before this? What were people doing to prepare? And people were canning their food. They were growing their own food and canning it. All right, they were just canning extra food that they made. They made extra. They have extra sauce. They have extra noodles. They have extra beef. Anything extra doesn't get thrown away. It gets canned, or it gets fed to farm animals like chickens and pigs, so that can be converted into food for them. All right, and food for you. So you need to be getting prepared. You need to be thinking of how you can survive if you're off grid. I'm completely off grid with my family. All right, I live in an RV. We are 100% off a generator and water tanks. I have a big 200-gallon water tank in the back of my truck that I carry around, and this is how we survive. Okay, and we have gas tanks as well that we try to keep filled up at all points. So if something happens, at least we can live off these tanks for at least a couple weeks, 2 weeks to a month, if we really stretch it out, and we can live off these tanks. So start thinking about these things, these systems that you can have in place that are kind of like fail-safe, fail-switch systems. If something fails, well, at least you have your water tank. And you can get these giant water tanks, and this is one of the things they're warning. This is why I'm talking about this, because this National Guard insider is warning that we could see the water shut off. All right, we could see the power shut off, and we could see the hospital shut off as well. And you can buy these giant like tote water tanks. They're called tote water storage tanks, something along those lines. They're called different things at Tractor Supply, Rural King, Big R. They all have a little bit different name, but they have the metal cages around them. They hold 275 gallons of water. Okay, and they might need washed out because they have oil in them or something along those lines. They're normally food grade, but that could save your life, just having that filled up. And you can just fill it up with hose water, and you can boil this water, use it to cook, use it to wash your hands and clean yourself in an emergency. So start getting these things now. Start getting stocked up on these things now, because it's already happening. All right, so let's hit all these articles. We have about half a dozen different news stories, states of emergencies being declared, and then we also have National Guard insiders warning of what's coming next and what they're preparing for. And what happens when all this stuff does happen, people are going to start losing it. There's going to be civil unrest and societal chaos. All right, so let's get into these articles here, and then we will get into what this National Guard insider is warning of, because this is serious. This is the U.S. military preparing domestically for these events, and you should be preparing too if you live in the U.S. or Europe, any NATO country, pretty much any country on earth. When big things start happening, it's going to affect everyone. All right, so we could see here already going on. Okay, we have about half a dozen articles we're going to hit really quick, and then we are going to get to this National Guard insider warning. And really quick, please hit it up for me down there to get this out to more people, because there are millions of people right now under states of emergencies, and they don't really know what to do. They don't know what's going on, and they could see this video and this could help them. They could be searching on YouTube what's going on in my area. So just to start off, Landglade County, Wisconsin is under an emergency situation right now because their systems are down. Okay, their 911 systems are down. You cannot call 911. You cannot contact the government. You cannot pay your bill. And people are under the situation and they don't know what's going on because they can't even contact them. And they're just hoping that people see their social media posts. Okay, so the government is just putting out posts on Twitter saying, hey, there's nothing we can do right now. We are trying to get these systems back up. And they're saying it's a catastrophic software failure. And this is from a major ransomware cyber attack that they're under. Also, the city of Hayward, California, right outside of San Francisco. Okay, we already have Oakland, California is under a state of emergency still. And they called in the National Guard to try to rebuild all of their systems. That's how bad it was. They had to get the National Guard's cybersecurity systems in there. In Oakland, now Hayward, California as well is under the same situation. Okay, all their systems are offline, going all the way down to the library. You can't even check out a library book right now in these cities. This is how bad it is. And imagine if they target the water supply, if they target the electricity grid, and they have water and electricity companies coordinating with the National Guard right now. And we're going to get to that in just a second because they're preparing for a major shutdown of these utilities. All right, so you can't even check out a book in these cities right now. Can't even check out a book at the library. That's how bad it is. You can't call 911. You can't pay your water bill. You can't pay your trash bill. A lot of cities have a monopoly on everything. They own the electricity, they own the water, and they own the trash. Okay, especially these big cities, they have a monopoly. It's just through the county or the city, and all these systems are offline. And Hayward, California has declared a state of emergency. Let's get into what's going on in South Carolina as well, and then we will get to this National Guard emergency warning. So coming out of South Carolina, we have Georgetown County and Horry County, which is right near Myrtle Beach. All right, and I love Myrtle Beach. Beautiful area. I've stayed there in my RV many times at the state park there. Beautiful place. I love the piers there, everything. But they are down as well. All right, this could happen anywhere in the country. And what happens when it's so cumulative that it's all the major cities are down? We had Houston, Texas under a major cyber attack as well just a few months ago. They were under the same situation where 911 services are down. No one can call, and this prevents the police from responding to real emergencies that are happening. So Georgetown County, Horry County as well in South Carolina under the same situation, and all their phone lines are down. Okay, we keep seeing hit after hit, and we could see a big one. Okay, Texas has its own grid system, and they keep prodding and probing Texas. I remember I put out an article last year how they have already probed all the top electric grids in the country, and one of them on there was Texas. Okay, and they've already probed it and mapped out all their systems for a major cyber attack, and they're essentially just waiting to flip the switch. So this is something that we need to be prepared for. Water could go offline, electricity, the internet, telephone communications, all these things are at risk. Remember, these senators got sat phones last month. Okay, they gave over 50 senators emergency satellite phones for grid down communications, and they told them to keep them on them, keep them charged up, because there could be an emergency grid down situation where your phone, it does not work. It is not going to work. All right, so let's get into what's going on with the National Guard and what this insider is warning of, because the National Guard is preparing for big things right now, emergency grid down situations, And this is happening all over the country. They're preparing for this. Why do they keep preparing for this similar situation in all these different states? All right. So this is coming out of the Nebraska National Guard, and they're having this massive exercise. And we had some insiders come out and give emergency warnings relating to why they are doing these exercises. So this is coming out of ABC News, ABC 7 News, all right, Omaha. And it says Nebraska National Guard troops and civilians train in joint cyber attack exercise. Quote, it's not about will we be attacked, we will be attacked. All right, so it's not a if, it's when. All right, it's not a if, it's when will we be attacked. And that's what they're preparing for. And that's what they are warning us of right now. So get your generators. I literally saw a comment on a post about this. All right, I saw one of the comments on this, or an article about this, because I was reading multiple articles trying to find the best information for you guys, trying to find the most quotes for you guys coming out of this. And this is called, quote, cyber tatanka. Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly. Cyber tatanka. Tatanka. That's what this military drill is called. But I saw this comment even on one of these articles saying, what would I do if the power goes out? What am I supposed to do if the power goes out? They didn't understand. And they were even saying, hey, the temperatures are extreme right now. We are having 110, 120 degree heat index, and I need my AC on. And what am I supposed to do if the power goes out? You need a generator. You need a generator. You need window units. You need a window unit, and you need to make sure it's compatible with your generator. All right. And I have a Champion generator. It is 4,600 starting watts, 4,600 starting watts. Can't remember exactly. 3,500 running watts, Champion generator. And it's literally a Champion, no affiliation or anything like that, or sales or anything. I've had this thing for years, and it is a beast. It's a beast. I can't say anything else. And it just keeps going. All right. The key is to change your oil in your generator, and do not put bad gas into your generator as well, and do not overload it and damage it. All right. But that's the key. And they were even wondering, what am I supposed to do in this situation? You need to have a generator. You need to have your own power generation, and you can have solar as well. But solar normally doesn't have enough starting watts to start an AC system. There are some workarounds where you can store the energy. Look into RV AC starters, energy starters, something along those lines. They're called different names, but you can store enough energy in capacity to start your AC. They have these devices for solar. They're just a little expensive. So look into that, because you can be on solar as well and still have AC. It's just a little bit harder. So let's get into what they are warning of, the National Guard here. This is the first quote, and we're going to get into all these quotes and they just get worse. All right, so stay tuned. This is the first one, and they're going to get worse every single quote. All right, so, and we got about 5-10 different quotes here. Quote, stealing your data, stealing any other information, or just bringing down your services, said Major Joshua Hall of the 179th Cyber Protection Team. The team is hosting the event called Cyber Tatanka. Hall said all of the scenarios during the exercise have happened. He said, quote, in the global situation, we're seeing cyber attacks increasing significantly, especially with the conflict going on overseas right now. Quote, the main goal here is that in the future, if we need to do any type of cooperative efforts with cyber defense between military and our industry partners here in Nebraska, that we'd be better prepared. All right. So they're even bringing in electric companies, water companies, all of these private sector groups as well to coordinate with this, because they're going to be the ones that are hit, and they need them as well. The military needs the power, and that's what this electric company is even saying. Businesses like Union Bank Trust and Lincoln Electric Systems signed on. Quote, we provide power to everybody. Without power, the Army guys can't do their jobs either. All right, so they are really worried about this. They're really worried that the power could go out, and they have Lincoln Electric System, Lincoln, Nebraska, all right, the main electric company there, they're even bringing them in and preparing them for a major cyber attack and how to keep them online and operating. And here's a few more quotes for you. Quote, "These attacks are just happening. It's not just some theoretical thing. They are happening." All right, this is from Captain Misovlav Barton. All right, he's saying this is not a theoretical thing. They are happening. These attacks are real. And also another quote from them: "Some of our hospitals were completely out of service for days." He was talking about how there's been massive cyber attacks on their hospitals as well over the past few years. Quote, "Cyber attacks could potentially have life or death consequences if escalated high enough." These are real attacks. This is asymmetrical warfare. This is non-kinetic warfare that has kinetic consequences. Okay, this is a cyber attack, but it turns into real life or death situations, shutting down hospitals, shutting down grids. They did studies. All right, Congress released a report in 2017 documenting a North Korean EMP. Okay, and they calculated that approximately 90% of the US population would not survive the first year after a EMP detonated over St. Louis, Missouri, that wiped out most of the US power grid systems. Okay, that's what the study said. All right, and this was released by Congress itself in 2017. Go look it up. Congress, North Korean EMP. Okay, this is real, and they predicted 90% of people would not survive within the first year because supply chains would go down. Okay, our supply chain and everything connected to it is related to the grid. Factories are tied to the grid. Everything that is produced is tied to the grid as well. All right, also the internet. All right, all the logistics of supply chains are calculated on the internet. There's also billions of dollars of e-commerce that operate exclusively on the internet. All these things would go offline in a second if there was a major grid down scenario. And not to mention, a EMP could potentially fry your car's electronics as well, fry your solar system, fry your generator, fry your phones, fry everything if it's not protected and you are within a certain radius of this electromagnetic pulse. Then your electronics itself could be out. All the trucks could be inoperable. Okay, all the trucks, all the semi-trucks, they're all so computerized now. They all have these DEF sensors in them. They have a million different sensors in them now, all the new trucks, and it would be almost impossible to replace all of these parts on the tens of thousands of truckers that are operating. So the supply chain would stop, food would stop, all these things would stop, not to mention living through extreme heat, okay, or cold without electricity as well. Most people are not equipped for that. Make sure you have a wood stove, okay? It is summer, but winter will be here before you know it, okay? So get a wood stove now. If the power goes out in the middle of winter and you have no means to heat yourself like a wood stove or any wood, then you're kind of screwed. You're kind of in a really bad situation unless you have your propane tank, your natural gas tank filled to the brim, and you are really able to ration that to stay warm. All right, so we need to be looking into this stuff. They are saying that this stuff's happening. It's not theoretical. And quote, "It's not about will we be attacked. We should just ask when." That's what Barron said as well. All right, Captain Barron also said, it's not about will we be attacked. We should just ask when. When will we be attacked? All right, so that's pretty eerie coming from the National Guard. And the National Guard is what the military prepares for to do domestically, okay? So they are talking about domestic events, and one of the big things they have up in the air is that they are worried that things could escalate, okay? Geopolitically, we have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on with multiple different countries right now, and they're worried that things could escalate and we could see cyber attacks in response. All right, that's what they are really worried about, and that's what the official narrative here coming out is, that things are getting so bad that the US is going to be hit domestically. So get prepared now, guys. I'm serious. Get candles, get kerosene lamps. You want to be able to see in the dark, okay? You want to be able to see in the dark. And if you really have a lot of funds, get night vision. I'm serious. Get night vision if you have the money for it, all right? I'm serious. This is how bad things are getting. And the people that can operate in the dark, see in the dark when the grid is out, it's going to be very dangerous. All right, there could be groups marauding around, stealing people's things. There could be paramilitary groups that pop up in these grid down situations, and having the advantage of seeing at night could be critical. All right, and you just want to be able to see at night as well for your family. All right, for your home. You don't want to just be in the middle of winter when it gets dark at 5 o'clock. You don't want to just be sitting in the dark for 14, 15, 16 hours in some places. All right, so get kerosene lamps, get oil for it. And I always had those growing up for hurricanes. Okay, the power would constantly go out from hurricanes. We were in a really bad part of Florida, and it was just a really bad hurricane block. Okay, this whole decade was just really bad, getting smacked with hurricanes. And we use these kerosene lamps many times, and you can use them inside as well. So get stocked up on these things. Get stocked up on food. Get stocked up on rice. I just bought another 20-pound bag of rice. I just like see it and I want to buy it. I'm like attracted to go buy this 20-pound bag of rice. I already have a bunch, but I just want to get one more, because that's literally almost 2 weeks worth of calories for an adult. All right, so just get stocked up on these things. Get water tanks, get a generator, get solar, gas cans, canned food, seeds, all this stuff. All right, there's big things going on with the food supply. If you didn't see my video that I posted a few days ago, please go check that out. Big things going on. You want to be growing your own food. You want to have seeds. You want to know people that grow food. You want to know farmers. Get in at farmers markets. Start to know these people and talk to them and treat them well. Give them a little extra. Okay, they'll remember that stuff. I did farmers markets for years and years with my wife before we had kids. People remember that. I remember the people that gave a little extra, that were, that were nice, that were just friendly, sat there and talked to me for a minute. I remember these people. All right, so get in with these people, because if stuff goes down, they're going to be the ones that can give you access to food. All right, so please hit it up down there. It really helps to get this video out. We have a half a dozen cities and counties under states of emergencies right now from all these massive cyber attacks, and people could be looking online. What am I supposed to do here? Searching on YouTube, trying to find somebody talking about this so they can see what's going on. All right, so please hit it up for me down there. I really appreciate that. I appreciate everyone watching. I'm super blessed, and I hope you guys have a big old blessed day.